Is J. Hodge the greatest and most unknown voice to the world? And Hassan Campbell be in and out of consciousness. Now I watch Hassan. I've watched Hassan Campbell hell since I was in college. I was watching Hassan Campbell in 2012, 13. Seeing some of his videos, hearing him speak, but I never seen him out of consciousness. But as time has gone on, and we watching, and everybody watching the world, you can't be a professor of consciousness or profess to be conscious, but then be in and out of consciousness. Hassan Campbell be in and out of consciousness. You can't be on the camera in the city doing all that you doing. You know, degrading young brothers the way you doing. Like, you do the very thing to your own kind that you condemn and you criticize, and the convictions you bestow upon people. But you got up there with Kwame Brown, and you went in and completely out of consciousness. Now people gonna listen because you know he addressing things that's going on, you know, over the world. Well, in this country at least, you know what I mean, in music and culture, and in New York City, which is, you know, where he from and all. We get all that. But to be in and out of consciousness, that's not leadership. You gotta you live in it, stand on it, eat, live, breathe consciousness. That just means being aware. I tell my son that. To be aware. Pay attention, be aware. You can't get in and out of consciousness when pressure get on. Kwame ain't put no pressure on. Kwame Brown didn't put no pressure on. But you automatically, you was getting on that with him. For what? That had to be some of the worst I've seen. But we got countless stories in our communities of quote unquote voices, leaders, whatever people want to proclaim themselves to be, being in and out of consciousness. Just embody what you stand for, and live in it. Like to watch that and rewatch that with Kwame Brown, that disgraceful, dishonorable. There was no honor there in that, and what you said and what you was doing. That's misleading. That's misguiding. That's misrepresentation. So you saying you talking to the young boys, the young men, the developing adults. That's not something I want my son to watch. That's not something I want my son to see. Not at all. Because to go on a pretty flawless streak of consciousness, and then for something to happen recent and you do that, if it's no violence against your own, live in that. I never killed nobody of my own culture in my life, and I take pride in that. I'm proud of that. In my life, But I got other things that I will not speak on that has occurred and that's been executed. And it has nothing to do with my own kind. There's more honor, is more gangster, and there's more everything, is more grace in that than to do what they got video evidence and all type of stuff you doing. Live in it, stand by it, embody it, exude it. It should radiate off you. If it's truly that, then it's truly that. But again, time and time, these false prophecies, you get intolerable after a while. You do. You G, you OG, you whatever you proclaim yourself to be, to these young boys in the world and different states, but specifically in New York, and you did that. You did the Instagram move, yelling in a camera to another man, a grown man. That's not general. If general is going to speak, speak, talk. Stay in lane, stay in bounds, stay in the consciousness, stay in that consciousness. Stay attentive, stay aware. Display the growth. Display the wisdom. For me personally, I'm in it and I'm on it. I would never be in and out of consciousness. Conflict resolution in our community and in our culture, it's a deficiency. It's a malfunction. Nobody know how to conflict resolute. We got men yelling at men in the streets and popping off and doing what they do and fooling and taking it there and taking it here, but then doing the same thing in the home with the women. Doing the same thing at home with the kids. Not everybody terrorized. Not everybody traumatized. That's chaos. That's how you can be easily controlled, through chaos. But Hassan Campbell, to be in and out of consciousness like that, dishonorable, man. Ain't no honor in that. No power in that. That just shows chaos, and now through chaos can be easily controlled. That's not what you want to show them. That's not what we showing the boys. Not the developing adults, not the new players in the game. Because like I said before, the game changed, the players don't. And you get on camera every time talking about you been in the game. Well, if you've been in the game, you should be very linear. You should be very vertical. It don't make no sense. And it's just not sensible. And it's wasteful. And it's useless. And it's valueless to be in and out of consciousness. I honestly believe that Hassan Campbell stood on his awareness, his attentiveness, his consciousness. But Kwame Brown, a attentive, a aware, conscious man himself, took him right out of it. Would seem and would look like unknowingly. I don't know how, but in the community, in the neighborhood, in our culture, conflict resolution is an extreme weakness. It's a defect. It's a malfunction. It's a constraint. It's a challenge. So with that being said, that has to be practice. That has to be mentored. Even as a grown man, you should have a mentor. Somebody that does better than you in certain areas. Conflict resolution is not a lot of our men strong or strengths. It's not their strong suits. It's not their strengths. I'm honest enough to admit conflict resolution is a developing strength for me. But I know what I will not do as a leader of youth. I won't get on camera and do that with another man. Got to be more regal than that. Got to be more G than that. And we're going to keep it G. We're going to keep it all the way here. All the way here. I'm not getting out of consciousness. That discipline to stay in, that shows the true measurement of manhood and character and men and the type of man you are. But Hassan Campbell, in and out of consciousness. And for me, it's the first time I've seen that. I'm not a follower. I don't follow people's life and be so involved in their business and what they're doing day to day and every single turn. And I'm not obsessed with any of the people or the voices on this YouTube, online, on social media, anywhere. I don't have an obsession, but that was the first time I've seen that. Hassan Campbell, in and out of consciousness. So that lets me know that that's natural. You ain't just did that the first time. This is not the first time. You spaz out. But discipline, control, attentiveness, awareness. You got to stay in bounds. Stay in the game. If it's conscious, be conscious. That don't mean reciting scriptures and literature and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about simplicity, being simple. Simple solutions for simple problems. Not exaggerating, not causing any dramatization, not putting on more confusion and chaos. The community cannot really withstand no more confusion and chaos. So for Hassan Campbell to be in and out of consciousness, with all them thousands and thousands of people that's listening, when you reporting some news, when you doing interviews and you on with other men, gotta keep it at a man level. Stay in bounds. Live your consciousness. Exude it. It should be radiating. Because when people see me and they meet me, it radiates off me. You can't seek out conflict. If there's a constraint, there's a challenge, whatever it is, find a common ground, man. Hassan Campbell, Kwame Brown has a common ground. They have a commonality. But because Hassan Campbell gets in and out of consciousness, that shows you what the true constraint is in the community and with our men and with our young boys, with our youth. 1 minute, I'll be cool. I'm going to chill. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to fall back. Next minute, I'm finna, yeah. Nah. No, that's not G. But that's a weakness, that's a constraint. In our culture, our community is a business. We gotta come up with a solution for the constraints. We gotta fix it. It gotta be some training. When a business have a constraint and a challenge, they do a training. We need a meeting and some training. So Hassan Campbell got to get some training from another man, another grown man. It don't matter whether older, younger, same age. If they are better than you at a certain skill, you got to be trained. But you can't be a grown man out here talking to the youth, out here talking to the boys. Iron sharpen iron. Wolves run with wolves. Lions run with lions. Oh, gorillas run with gorillas. Try to find the biggest animal. Elephants run with elephants. Rhinos run with rhinos. Trying to find the biggest animal, the biggest, most brute animal you can in the kingdom to say that you are that and that's what you run with and that's what you're a part of. But then you be in and out of consciousness. You ain't got the discipline. You ain't got no mentorship. You ain't got no advisory from another man with a better skill in a certain area of manhood. It don't make sense. Well, Hassan Campbell, in and out of consciousness. And that's not effective. So you're going to be rendered ineffective when the pressure really get on. And you speak about a lot of pressures. So when the pressure really get on, it's not going to require what you think or feel is a strength of yours that it required. That's going to be the wrong skill. And that with Kwame Brown, that was the wrong skill. Hassan Campbell be in and out of consciousness, but with leadership, you got to stay in line. You got to stay in bounds. Whatever you stand on, whatever your principles, morals, and values is, whatever your belief is, if you are conscious and you have consciousness, and I don't mean being a part of a conscious society or a conscious group. No, if you just have it, you have it. You have an understanding. You can deliver simplicity, simple solutions for simple problems. You can break down complex problems into a simple problem. Complex constraints and challenges to a simple constraint and challenge and provide a simple solution. That's what I mean. You are attentive. You are aware. Exude it. Let it radiate all over you. Let it be your halo. Have pride in your consciousness. But you can't make it a costume. can't put it on certain days and not like, it's not a costume. But in our culture, in our community, that's a constraint, that's a challenge, it's a weakness. And this is our business, our culture, our communities, our men, our boys, our girls, our women, our elders. And just like in any business, if there's a constraint, a challenge, hey, you need some training, you need some mentorship, you need some advisory. And that's what black men meant. That's what black men in our culture and us in our community need. Because that, seeing Hassan Campbell going in and out of consciousness with Kwame Brown, that's ineffective. That's valueless. That's wasteful. That's useless. If you have any constraints in your manhood, get an advisor, get a mentor, get some training from somebody else who is better at that skill than you. And that skill right now is conflict resolution.